Here we see the composition of the sculpture, which incorporates both male and female template workers. The sculpture is a balance between the realistic depiction of the workers and more abstract elements which have been designed to show a sense of the movement of their work and to represent the heavy industry in which people of Llanelli were engaged. The male figure is seen in a dynamic pose, which shows his movement and the action of taking the tinplate from the furnace, sweeping this across the factory floor towards the rollers. I felt this aspect of the process captured the strength, skill and sense of repetition which the worker undertook on a daily basis. The female figure depicts a different aspect of the process. We see her splitting or slicing the tinplate after the pickling process. In her right hand she holds a machete which she would utilise to separate the sheets prior to their polishing. Again, this is a dynamic, repetitive aspect of the tinplate process, and like the male figure shows the strength and daily working regime which people of the town for years were employed within. What is clear to see is that the top half of both figures is realistically portrayed. Indeed, there is a close observation of costume, representation of the workers' faces and tools, and indeed such things as the short-length shirt the male worker wears, and the slate which the female worker holds in her hands. The sculpture, however, depicts more than just these realistic elements. The abstract elements begin to emerge as we pan down the length of the figures, and what starts to emerge are bold dynamic shapes and forms which have been designed to bring animation and life to the artwork. These shapes are representative of the movement of each character's actions and the repetitive actions that they take. They are bold and structural, and this helps identify with the machinery, tools and the factory setting, and the fact that those employed in such work were essential cogs within a process. The shapes we see are developed from observed structures in the industry, but also I looked at other forms to do with maritime industry, especially in the lower elements of the artwork, which is not dissimilar to the hull of a ship. It is important to note that these shapes are not literal depictions, but are there to stimulate visually and capture the effects of time and movement. The title of the sculpture is Industrial Symphony, and such shapes act in a musical way to create a sense of harmony and rhythm in a three-dimensional form. By bringing the two figures together, we get a sense of unity and togetherness between the men and women of the town, who together help to forge its development and prosperity.